American accent training. Welcome to our Friday live question and answer class where you can ask your questions regarding the American accent and we'll give you a topic. Today we're going to be talking about how to sound more fluent and how to be more fluent when speaking American English, and by using what's called reduced sounds. So we'll talk about what reduced sounds are, give you lots of examples and practice, and you can ask questions about this topic or any other topic regarding the American accent. Go ahead and put those in the chat and I'll get back to you with an answer. You can always ask questions if you're not watching live by making a comment, and I will get back to you with where you can find the information about that, either on my website, speechmodification.com, or in one of my 500 videos on my YouTube channel. So thank you for being here today, and feel free to ask your questions at any time. So we're going to be talking about fluent speech, and I'll also be giving you a quick tip you can use right away to improve your American accent. In fluent speech, we do a lot of things to connect words and reduce words. So a big part of how we speak in English has to do with our intonation, which words get stressed, our pitch changes, the rhythm of speech. You can find more information about that on my intonation playlist and get some good information about understanding American intonation and how to use it. Today, we're mostly going to be focused on pronunciation changes in fluent speech, but it's all interrelated. So when I'm speaking fluently, I don't break between every word. That would sound very not fluent, as you can tell. And certain words are longer and other words are shortened and reduced. So the important words, the words that I want to stress, you can hear I stretch those words, I hold them longer. Lots of the little words like are and to and have and your don't get stressed, and they actually get reduced. And by reduced, what I mean is frequently part of the word is missing or a different vowel is used. So oftentimes words go from having a pure vowel to having the vowel schwa, the sound, or the vowel I, which is also can be a reduced sound. Nice to see you, Bahram. Thank you for saying hi. Feel free to ask questions, as I mentioned before. So just now, we did our last 5x5 challenge video, and I talked about how we reduce the word to ta in fluent speech. So we don't say, I need to talk to you. We would say, I need to talk to you, to talk. So you can hear that to becomes ta. We do that in almost all instances with the word to. We also use it in prepositional phrases like rather than to the movie, I would say to the movie, to the. So that to and the are not stressed. Movie is stressed, it's the important word. To and the go quickly and have the reduced vowel sound to the. So to practice that, we talked about how to use repeated phrase practice, and we did some of that practice together. You can check out that 5x5 video and playlist on my channel page. And I'm also going to be giving you a number of other resources today in class for the reduced sounds. But let's look at some other words besides to that get reduced and try some of those. So another word that we often reduce the vowel for is the word are. Okay, so we have a question, some mouth exercises for clear speech. What I find, unless you have particular sounds that you want to practice on, for example, the TH sound, it can be helpful to create that mouth position and say the sound by itself, resting the tongue between the teeth and blowing air like or the R sound where you want to pull your tongue back and brace against the insides of your teeth. Those are mouth positions that working on just the sounds can be useful to make sure you're getting the sound correct. But for the most part, the best way to have clear speech and use the American accent is to be practicing on words and phrases, actually speaking. Typically, you don't have any problems with how your muscles in your mouth move, and so you don't really need to exercise them, except that you need to build new habits. And so when you're practicing on the things that you actually have to say, practicing on words and phrases with these common sounds with your accent error patterns to change them to American accent patterns, that's really what's going to give you that new habit and build that clear speech you're looking for. Now, in rare cases, it can be useful, as I said, to be practicing just on some sounds and syllables. So for example, TH is one, R is one, that might be a little more difficult for you. It can be helpful then just to say the TH sound. Let's try that together. Just say using a mirror, making sure that you can see your tongue. Try turning your voice on. So voiceless would be and voiced would be th. Once you can continue that sound, you know you have the correct tongue position, then you might want to start building some syllables, like you can say ooth or thoo or even oothoo. Those are really the only types of exercises besides speaking in words and phrases that I recommend, just to build that motor habit and feel more comfortable with that tongue position. After you've done the sound, the syllables, oothoo, then begin practicing and spend most of your time practicing on words like think, thank, and thought. So I hope that helps you, and I would say for you, if you're looking for particular sounds, you can use my American TH playlist and my American R playlist to get help on how to form the mouth shapes to make those sounds. Otherwise, all the practice techniques I'm going to be talking about today and that I talk about in my videos are focusing on words and phrases, and that's really going to help you with that clear speech you're looking for. Thank you. That was a great question. Okay, so I was talking about the words that get reduced, and I wanted to talk about the word are. So I typically don't say, you are my friend. I often will change are to a contraction. So you are would become your, or they are would become their. And in that case, the vowel is gone entirely. But let's look at a sentence with are. And so what I've done is I've just taken some pretty typical sentences, and we're going to look at what happens with these words. I hope that's not reversed for you. Let's see, it says, what are you doing? What are you going to do? If that's reversed, you'll have to just bear with me. So rather than saying it like that with those breaks, what are you going to do? In this case, I would say, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So you hear some other reductions as well. What and are get linked, and that vowel ah is pretty much gone. So it kind of sounds like water, water. So there's more of an sound there. So, and also you notice that T, I'm not saying what are or what I'm saying water. That becomes more of a flap T, or it's kind of easy to think about it as a D, water. What are you, and then going to do. Again, we talked about how to becomes ta. What are you going to do? And also, in some cases, I will say, what are you going to do? Where that T becomes more of a D. But let's leave it as a T. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay, so for are, if you want to practice on that, you can try what are, who are you talking to? What are you doing? Where are you going? And also try practicing with those contractions, like rather than they are going, they're going. You are talking, you're talking. Americans will almost always use a contracted form of are if they can, especially when there's multiple verbs. Okay, another contracted word that we often use is the word have. So I would never really say I could have gone to the store. I'm always going to contract that have, and it's going to become more of a V. So I could have gone. And then again, rather than to the store, I could have gone to the store. That's more of a schwa. That's very shortened. To the store. I could have gone to the store. Another example, here's another are. I'm not going to say, what are your plans? I'm going to say, what are. That vowel ah is going to get reduced, and it's going to sound more like a D here. So, what are. And then I'm not going to say, what are your plans? The your is also another word that frequently gets reduced. So rather than your with an O, it's just going to become more of a your. What are your plans? Now, that's when I'm stressing the word plans. What are your plans? So what are your is all very quick, and plans is stretched out. What are your plans? What are your intentions, etc. When I'm stressing your, I can also say this sentence with your as the stressed word. But let's hear how that sounds. If I'm saying it with normal stress, it's going to sound like, what are your plans? With plans stretched. If I'm stressing your, what are your plans? That implies that I've been talking about my plans or someone else's plans. So it puts special emphasis on the your. In that case, it won't be reduced. What are your plans? But most of the time, your, have, to, are, all of these words are not stressed, and therefore they get reduced. And so why try to do this? As I mentioned before, you're going to sound more natural and fluent if you're reducing these words. People will certainly understand you if you're saying them with the full vowel sounds, but they may have to listen a little harder, or they may notice that that speech is different. They may be distracted by your accent and not be paying as close of attention to the content of what you're saying. And so it's worth paying attention a little bit to some of these differences. The other nice thing is that if you have an accent error pattern on any of these sounds, and you have a habitual way of saying them that includes that error pattern, if you change and you say it the new way, you don't have a practiced error pattern for that. So if I normally say, I could have gone, but I have the error pattern of devoicing my final V, so I might sound more like I could have gone. When I go to say that, I just have that habit, that pattern is ingrained in how I say it. If I'm trying to switch to could have gone, I'll be less likely to have that error pattern, could have gone, because I am practicing and I can be intentional about both things at once. So I can be correcting an error pattern as well as increasing how fluent I sound and how American I sound at the same time. Now, quick tip for this. It can be overwhelming to try to take on all of this at once. So it can be very helpful to just select something small and try to implement that in your speech. Using the practice techniques we've talked about many times before of practicing with the words by themselves and then beginning with repeated phrase practice. So again, you can go to my video from just earlier today, the 5x5 challenge on reduced sounds, and I walk you through the practice steps using to. So talking about saying to talk, to go, to think, to the store, to the meeting, etc. And so that's one good one to use. We also reduce that to in words like today and tomorrow. And so you can try practicing with those. You can say today, today I'd like to go. Today I'd like to talk. Today I'd like to eat, etc. So you can get multiple practice on that reduced sound too. Any other questions about this topic or any other topics, please feel free to ask them. It's great to see so many of you here today. And I'd also like to mention that the examples I showed you with sentences today, I have quite a few videos going through sentences, conversations, and showing you how those reduced sounds come in. And you'll find that on my Real Talk playlist. I'm going to put that in the chat for you. And so here is where you can find that. If you go to my channel page and you type in the search box, reduced sounds, you'll find lots more videos that have some examples, help, and practice for these sounds. And then I also highly recommend going to my website where I have free practice materials. So if you go to speechmodification.com and you go to the free practice, you'll find a lot more information and recordings and videos for how to use reduced sounds. I'm going to give you a link that will take you to all of those exercises. In addition, you can go on my website to my courses page, and I have a course specifically about reduced sounds and real talk, how Americans really speak, reduce and link sounds to be fluent in speech It can be a great course for you if you're a little bit more advanced and you're at the point where you've corrected a lot of accent errors, but your speech still sounds accented. So Shahir has a question. Should I focus on fluency first to be a better English speaker or focus on grammar? I think focusing on fluency is more important. Grammar is helpful and you need to use correct grammar to be well understood, but the more you speak and work on fluency, the more you'll have opportunities to deploy the grammar. You can have excellent grammar skills, excellent comprehension and reading, but if you haven't been actually using speaking practice, you won't have the skills you need when you go to communicate in English. So that would be my priority would be fluency. Of course, all of it is integrated and it's helpful to have all of the information at once, but you'll discover where your grammar needs help if you're trying to be more fluent and use English conversation. So good question, thank you. Okay, so quick tip for today. As I said, select one small piece of reduced sounds and you try to use that and implement that. So you might use to or you might use are. Don't try to take it on all at once. Build a new habit of using these sounds in your speech so it becomes comfortable for you. I wanted to let you know that if you are here in the Seattle area, I am teaching some classes beginning in 2 weeks. September 5th will be the first day of class, so they'll be on Wednesdays in Bellevue, and there's a noontime class and an evening class, so I hope you can join me for one of those. I am currently doing a giveaway for a free seat in class, so you can find that on my website and sign up to win that free enrollment. I'll be doing the drawing this weekend and notifying the winners early next week, so I hope that you can be a part of that. I do also have free classes coming up in Seattle in September. You can find those on my website as well, and that's a great way to get some more information, more help, and feedback for you personally on your speech. Please feel free to join me next Friday for our next question and answer class. You can always ask questions on any of my videos, make comments, and I'll direct you to where to find the answers on my website and on my channel page. And if I don't have a video that will answer your question, I might make you one, and I'll let you know when that's ready. So I'm happy to see everyone today. Thank you so much for being part of class. And I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound American, you can do it. speechmodification.com.